2 months after the most devastating hurricane to hit Dominica, the island is still picking up the pieces of broken homes, businesses and school. The cost of rebuilding and recovery was estimated at US $1.37 billion. The nation's leader, the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, addressing the CARICOM UN High-Level Pledging Conference at the United Nations headquarters in New York on November 21st, assured the country's commitment to becoming the first climate-resilient nation. The theme of the conference was building a more climate-resilient community. Dominica's Prime Minister stated that the island is focusing on recovery and rebuilding rather than relief.
I do not believe there is a sustainable alternative. We are in the line of sight of storms that become more dangerous by the year. The PDNA was not sized for building better, but for a climate-resilient nation. And so we expect our recovery and rebuilding costs to be even higher.
Dr. Skerrit stated that according to the Post-Disaster Needs Assessment, PDNA, a rise in the poverty rate from a near 25% to 40% may occur if recovery doesn't happen quickly. He pledged to do all he can to prevent the economy and society from a detrimental fall. During his presentation, the Honorable Prime Minister outlined Dominica's priorities, for which he is calling on the international communities to assist.
Rebuilding critical transport infrastructure, including key port terminals, major connecting roads and bridges, and slope interventions that will allow business, trade, and travel to return. 2, restoring the power grid fast, organizing a climate-resilient distribution of the grid, and investing in a high concentration of renewables in order to lower costs. 3, revitalizing food markets and crop planting, and in the process, developing food security and climate-resilient agriculture, irrigation, and fisheries. 4, strengthening sea and river defenses in Roosevelt to help draw in other investments in building and commerce. And 5, small critical investments to support the return of the tourism sector and to facilitate commercial loans to the sector through partial guarantees.
He stated that an outstanding $85 million is required to replace 16 major bridges, smaller bridges and culverts, improvement of the South Road and restoration of the river capacity. A further $23 million is needed for key terminals and berths, $12 million for critical river and sea defenses for Roseau, part of a proposed $40 million Roseau enhancement project. The Dominica leader stated that priority will be placed on rehousing the homeless, returning children to schools, and restoring running water and sanitation, as well as accessing medical facilities.
In the housing sector, we focus on constructing 5,000 destroyed homes of those who cannot afford to do so. We'll also provide more modest financial support to those low-income individuals repairing damaged homes. We need $200 million to rebuild and repair homes for those who cannot do so themselves. In the housing sector, we focus on constructing 5,000 destroyed homes of those who cannot afford to do so. We'll also provide more modest financial support to those low-income individuals repairing damaged homes. We need $200 million to rebuild and repair homes for those who cannot do so themselves. We focus a budget of $67 million of immediate education priorities on the rebuilding of climate-resilient public schools. We focus of $56 million for the water and sanitation budget on returning running water and sanitation. Our overall health needs will exceed the numbers in the PDNA.
$10 million has been committed by the World Bank for Dominica's recovery efforts. Reporting for GIS News, I'm Lyrian Graham Carter.